Hi, my name is Galina and I'm running for Vice President Student Activities. I'm currently on the events team of Subsidy Radio.
Okay, you say in your manifesto that you want more money for student societies to ensure that everybody has equal opportunities to participate. Who do you think should be providing additional funding for clubs and societies?
I believe it should be the university through the SRC, because it's not a lie that a lot of the funding from clubs and clubs and societies was cut last year. Like Subsidy Radio we got a little of the budget that we got last year, so that kind of put us in a bad start for the beginning of the year. So I think the SRC with the university should work for better funding and more accessible funding for clubs and societies in general.
Okay, but what are you going to do if the university says no more funding?
Well, I would help people with coordination, and I would help them create events to be able to fundraise their clubs and societies, because I'm experienced in events management and that's what I've been doing for the past 5 years. So I would offer coordination and communication, maybe merge events between different clubs and societies together if they have a common theme, so that they are able to attract more people, which will pay in and thus gather more funds.
But if a society or a student club or society were to come to you and say that they need more money to do something, what are you going to do if the SRC can't afford it and the university refuses to give any more money to fund the kids?
I would assist them with creating their own events to attract more people, which will pay in the door. For instance, like I was involved in Student Volunteers Abroad 3 years ago, and I went to Malawi. So throughout the year we had to raise £10,000, and it was a team of 7 or 8 of us. So what we did was, I know it's going to sound really stupid, but we did a lot of bake sales. One bake sale gives you an average of £100 if you stay there during the whole day. Now £100 may not seem that much if you're a small club or a society, but I believe it's really helpful. So like bake sales is just one little example of this. You can create a lot more events that will attract people, which pay in, and then that gives you the funds for society if the university or the SRC doesn't have the capacity to afford that.
Okay, in addition to things like bake sales, which raise small amounts of money for clubs and societies, you say that where financial solutions aren't available, where the SRC can't afford to give clubs or societies any more money, you're going to offer alternative solutions. So what alternative solution, for example, would you offer a club or society that needs more money, substantially more money, but can't necessarily get its hands on that either from the university through the SRC?
Again, through events management. I'm going to, force is not the right word, I'm going to encourage clubs and societies to create more events so that they're responsible for their own funds. Because if no one can help you, then you need to help yourself. And I'm able to offer that coordination and communication to make that happen. Does that make sense? Yeah? So
a lot of the SRC's time, a lot of the VP activities time is taken up with charitable fundraising.
Yeah.
But in your manifesto you haven't said that much about charitable fundraising from the SRC's perspective. What will you do to ensure that the SRC continues to effectively raise money for charitable causes?
I've not mentioned anything about charitable fundraising because I am really not certain what the SRC does in regards to charitable fundraising. I've never been in the SRC. I've always been a part of student media, which is kind of a part of the SRC, but not exactly. What I would do, I know Liam King and the current office did not continue Rag Week this year, but I feel like it's a lot more, it could be connected to the online calendar I want to make. So I would like to encourage the SRC to kind of have one charitable event per month, and then we can maybe have a polling thing on the SRC Facebook page where people decide the charity they want to fundraise for, and have events, have parties, have gatherings where certain people talk. For instance, Media Week I think Media Week is really important, and I don't know why it wasn't brought to quite the attention of people this year. I think Media Week is quite important because you can get people that actually do music and art as a business and have them talk to people.
So things like Media Week and Rag Week, would you be bringing these back if you were VP Executive?
I would definitely bring Media Week back, yes, because I believe it's a really important feature that people can get involved with if they want to go through with if they want to go through with media and, you know, expand their career choices. I don't know about Rag Week. I believe it would be good to send out a PDF newsletter once every month with different, you know, charities that you can be involved with and different events that the SRC would fundraise for, so that people will get involved. People will get the chance to be involved throughout the year rather than just for 1 week, because everyone knows charity is not really done in 1 week's time.
I want to ask you about this online calendar that you want to create. You say that you want to create an online calendar for all student clubs and societies to add their events to. Mm-hmm. In order to fulfill this promise effectively, surely you're going to need the cooperation of independent clubs and societies which are totally independent of the SRC, even if they are affiliated. And there's no guarantee that cooperation will be forthcoming. It's entirely up to these clubs and societies whether they participate, and you can't really guarantee that in order to fulfill this promise.
No, I can't really guarantee that, but I believe it's in the interest of clubs and societies to actually put their events on that online calendar that I want to make.
Who do you see being responsible for creating this?
I want to take the responsibility of this. I want to be responsible of creating this.
Have you the technical ability to be able to do it?
The technical ability as in website creating?
Yeah, website creating, adding to the SRC's existing website. Are you technically able to do this?
Personally, no. But I believe that there's a lot of students in this university that will do it for a very small fee with the chance of exposure.
You've spent a lot of your time as a student involved with Subcity Radio. What are you going to do to make sure that the SRC, which is under considerable financial pressure itself, continues to proactively support student media?
I believe it's in the interest of student media to have a person from student media on the SRC board, because it's not a lie that a lot of what is going on in the SRC and who gets elected is chosen by people that are already within the SRC. And I think a lot of these people have never been involved with student media. I know Liam King was involved with The Guardian before. Was he? Yeah.
Before my time.
Okay, well, I think it's really important that student media gets back on the agenda, and I think it's really important for the SRC to kind of help student media promote their events better and create more events so they can get more funds.
If student media was to be running adverts, The Guardian does, I don't know really what the situation is with other student media, but do you think that through advertising, student media could actually be a source of profit for the SRC?
I think student media should be a source of profit for student media, not for the SRC. But yeah, I think advertising is a good way. We've never personally done it in Subcity. Well, we've done upgrading on Facebook posts so that they can reach more audience whenever we put up parties. But yeah, I do think advertising is a good way for student media to gain more funds. But again, that shows the complete incapability of the SRC to actually provide the funds and that the funds and the resources the student media will need. It depends on the advertising. I would go for quite small ones, but I think as long as everything is in an aesthetic manner, then I don't really see a problem with that.
You're a relatively inexperienced candidate. Your experience comes largely through student media. What can you say to people who are concerned that maybe compared to the other candidates in this election that you're relatively inexperienced? How can you reassure them that you actually have the skills, the ability to make a success of being VP activities next year?
I think my inexperience is only connected to the fact that I've not been a part of the SRC. So I don't have the experience of how people in the SRC communicate between each other, but I've done events management for 5 years, and I've done it for charity events, and I've done it for club nights. I've been working with Sabrosa, and then subsequently I started doing PR for the IM in Sub Club. Whereas, like, I've also been involved in Subcity Radio for the past 3 years. I don't know, I think it's really, really important that people understand that whoever they choose actually has a lot of, I I think it's really important for people to know that whoever they choose actually has power to decide things that are important to them. And I think this choice should not be limited to people that are within the SRC, because once you're in a certain organisation, you tend to get blinded by everything else that is around you and you forget where you've come from. Whereas people that are already within the SRC, well, they've been there for a couple of years and they don't really remember what it's like to actually, do PR as a business. And I think that's really important. So people need to be very aware of the fact that their vote actually counts so much.
Galina, thank you very much.
Thank you.